Hello, and welcome to this course on Claude Fable 5. My objective through this video is to help you gain and develop mental models when it comes to working with Fable 5 and your understanding of Fable 5. We're going to talk about the new things that have been made possible across industries with Fable 5, especially vibe coding and the agentic engineering space. We're going to talk about how you can use Fable 5 as an agent orchestrator in a Ministry of Agents type situation, where you have Fable 5 at the top, and then you have different models like GLM 5.2, GPT 5.5, DeepSeek, Sonnet, and you have these other models being orchestrated by Fable 5. We're going to talk about a variety of different concepts with Fable 5 that are going to help you understand what this model paves the way for. All right, so in the past few years, we've had some watershed moments in the agentic coding space, and these were moments that changed a lot of things for a lot of people. And the first was the release of the model Opus 4.5, because this was the time when developers unanimously reached a consensus, which was saying that, okay, we don't need to write code manually at all anymore. These models are capable of writing all of the code, and all we need to do is oversight and reviewing the code. And then the next two watershed events were just in the past month, which was the release of Fable 5 and then the redeployment of Fable 5. So when Fable 5 was released, it made new things possible. New things were made possible with this model. And what I mean by that is, while a model, which is a predecessor of Fable 5, like the Opus generation or the Hike or Sonnet generation or the GPT models, these models could develop websites and applications with human oversight, and you would have to iterate and you would have to develop applications. But with Fable 5, what we've seen is that it can build huge, high effort requiring applications with a single prompt. So for example, somebody can build Minecraft, such a complex game which requires a lot of physics, a lot of reasoning, a lot of graphics, in a single prompt. You give Fable 5 a single prompt to code Minecraft for you, and it's going to build the entire game for you in a single prompt. And this level of capability was hitherto undreamt of. And so now that we have this capability with Fable 5, new things were made possible. People could build large amounts of software, so many new things, but unfortunately it was taken away from us for reasons that are not our concern. But luckily, we have it back now. So Fable 5 has been redeployed to users globally, and I think we need to appreciate that we have this technology back, because I remember the day it was banned, people were getting crazy about this model. They were saying that it felt like they had lost a loved one, somebody who could complete all of their tasks. It was like a partner, it was like a co-founder, all of those things. So it was a very emotional loss for some people when Fable 5 was gone. And now that it's back, I think that the best way for us to appreciate it is to deeply understand it so that we can use it to the best of our ability. Now, I have a very useful thought experiment about Fable 5 that I want you guys to run. Take a piece of paper and write down the things that you want Fable 5 to be capable of doing that it's currently not capable of doing. Right? So what are the tasks in the digital economy that you would like Fable 5 to be capable of doing that it currently cannot do? And when I tried this out, I realized that there's not actually too many tasks. It's very close to zero that Fable 5 can't do. Fable 5 is literally capable of doing anything digitally. And my point here is that how much better do we expect these models to get? Today, when I'm running a business and I'm writing code and I'm developing software, all of these things, I can do all of that with Fable 5. I can do it directly with Fable 5. I can use Fable 5 to orchestrate other AI models and agents, which we're going to talk about later on in the video. But the point is that Fable 5 is where we want to go. I mean, how much better does it get? I'm not an ML expert, so I'm not going to talk about scaling laws and everything. Maybe these models get cheaper, maybe they get even better. But for a general consumer, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who likes to develop software, I don't think we need anything more. I think Fable 5 is capable of doing everything that we would want. There are no limits here. We can really build amazing things as general people, as consumers. We can build great stuff with Fable 5. How much better do we expect these models to even get? All right, so now let's talk about Claude Fable 5's cost. And a lot of people in today's world say that it's expensive. They compare it to Opus 4.8, and they say that it's a very, very expensive model. And sure, by the current standards, yes. But I think we need some perspective on this so that we can understand why it's actually not that expensive. So if you remember models like GPT-3 or GPT-4, they were more expensive than what Fable 5 costs at launch. So when those models were launched, they were more expensive compared to Fable 5. And yet Fable 5 is exponentially better. It's in an entirely different dimension from these ancient models. And then you have Models like Opus 4.1, which is not too ancient. It's not a dinosaur model. It was released less than a year ago in August of 2025. And Fable 5 is cheaper than what Opus 4.1 costed at launch. And Fable 5 is in a completely different dimension. So in the grand scheme of things, you have so much economic leverage because of Fable 5 in all sorts of fields and dimensions that it really doesn't matter. And it's not even that expensive when you look at the models that have been released previously. All right, so this is a workflow that I am 100% sure is going to be very common in the near future. And if you learn it today, you're going to have a structural advantage over anyone else who you're competing with. And the reason for that is that this is the most efficient way to use AI agents, and it's also the cheapest way. And Fable 5 makes this possible. So what exactly is this method? Well, it's kind of like a ministry of agents. So you have your prime minister or your orchestrator, Fable 5, the most powerful model, frontier models, the best model that you have. You want to keep it as the orchestrator. And the role of this orchestrating model is that it assigns tasks to the other agents. So we have 4 ministers here in the cabinet: Opus 4.8, GLM 5.2, GPT 5.5, and DeepSeek. And so Fable, based on the complexity of the task and based on what the task is, it is going to assign the task to one of these 4 models. And by doing so, we save costs. Now let's talk more about the system and how beautiful and magical it is. So as a user, I'm going to give a prompt to Fable 5 directly, and then Fable 5 is going to break down the task that I've given it into smaller tasks. It's going to make a plan, and then it's going to distribute those tasks to its ministers based on the complexity and based on the task. And it's going to do so to minimize costs and maximize the quality of the output. So for example, any large coding task that requires deep reasoning, a lot of physics, a lot of thought process is going to go directly to Fable 5's right hand, number 2, second in command, which is Opus 4.8. Now, if we have a task that is slightly easier than that, it's going to go to GLM 5.2. And the reason for that is it's cheaper. And what this also allows you to do is context isolation. So a lot of you guys probably know that the reason our prompts get so expensive when we're using AI tools is that the context accumulates, right? So my 30th prompt to Claude costs more than my first prompt to Claude. And this changes that because the context is isolated. So Opus 4.8 has limited context, GLM 5.2 has limited context, whereas Fable 5 has all of the context. So if there are things that require not too much effort and are pretty simple tasks like changing colors or basic UI changes, those changes can go directly to a very cheap and very fast model like DeepSeek. And DeepSeek is a fraction of the cost of Opus 4.8. So doing this essentially saves you a lot of money. And instead of switching these models manually, what you can do is you can have different models running different agents in parallel simultaneously. And all of this is orchestrated by Fable 5. You don't have to do anything. So you just explain your requirements to Fable 5. You say that I want to minimize costs, I want the best quality output, and you have these 4 models as your ministry of agents. And then Fable 5 is going to take it from there. And if there's a task that requires Fable level competence and Fable level coding abilities, then Fable 5 can do that itself as well. The orchestrator can also step in to complete certain tasks. And if there are tasks that require the full context, so if there's something that applies to the entire code base and you need all of the context, then the orchestrator, Fable 5, can do that task without distributing it to the ministry. So it can do the tasks itself as well. So this is the most efficient workflow that I've found and that I've discussed with my peers. And this is what I'm going to be using over the next few days. So if you guys are interested in me actually showing you guys this workflow, just let me know in the comments and I'll create a video on that. So I think we've talked about a few mental models and frameworks for thinking about Claude Fable 5. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is what you can do with this model. What new things can you do with this model? And based on what I've seen in my peer group and online, I think these are the best things that you should try out. The first is secure your code. So if you have any application that you've already built or you're currently building, use Fable 5 for security so that you have no security breaches, because Fable 5 is extraordinarily good at securing code and writing really secure applications. So use Fable 5, secure your code, and it's going to be a great thing for your application whenever it's deployed. or published. The second thing is talk business with Fable. So for example, I have a lot of things going on, right? I have my YouTube channel, I have a business, I have some software that I'm working on. And what you want to do is you want to talk to Fable about this, because Fable is going to give you so many new perspectives. It's going to ask you so many deep and intriguing questions. It's really going to change the way you think about whatever's going on in your business, in your professional life, in your career. So talk business with Fable. You'll be surprised, and I guarantee you will enjoy it. All right. And the last thing I want to say is build anything, literally anything. You can build anything. Whatever you want to build, type it into Fable. It's going to get built. Whatever you want to build. You want to build Minecraft. Fable has built Minecraft. People put a prompt saying build me Minecraft, and Fable builds Minecraft in one prompt. Minecraft is one game. It's built so many different animations, so many different things. We've already talked about what Fable 5 is capable of. There's so many videos online that you guys can check out about what Fable 5 is capable of building, but it is unreal. You can literally build anything, any 3D animation, any application, any website, anything that you want to build. All you have to do is just type it into Fable, and Fable 5 will build it for you. That is the state that we have reached. This is the point which we have reached in the AI industry, and it's amazing to be here. So thank you for watching. Let me know what video you want next. This was a short course teaching you guys some mental models and ways I like to think about Fable 5. Thank you, and peace.